Hi, this is Johnny Hansmeyer, and this is the movie report. No, actually, I just wanted to tell you guys, I'm changing the name of my channel. It's gonna be called "What Movie Do You Want to Watch?" Anyway, the movie I'm going to be reviewing for you guys today is Dumb and Dumber 2. Now, this movie is starring Jeff Daniels as Harry, Jim Carrey as Lloyd, and Kathleen Turner as Freda Felcher. And this movie is about Harry and Lloyd. And Lloyd actually is getting out of an insane asylum, and he has a mental issue. And so one day Harry visits him every day at the hospital, and Harry brings him these box of chocolates, and Lloyd is just sitting there in the wheelchair, and he's just like, "Hey," and then Harry says, "Oh, come on, Lloyd, you gotta get over her. Oh, Merry Christmas was just another girl." And then Lloyd's just sitting there like, got ya! Wait, you were just faking all these years in the hospital and it was all for a gag? Yep. That's awesome! Yeah, uh-huh. And that part was actually pretty funny. I actually thought that was pretty funny. But this movie is about to both Harry and Lloyd's former girlfriend, and both of their girlfriend was Freda Felcher, and Freda Felcher has a daughter, and Harry finds out that Harry has a daughter, and they need to go across the country looking for her, and so they talk to Freda Felcher, and they talk to her and ask her who she is and what she's about, and apparently their daughter actually was given up for adoption. And so they try to go across the country looking for her, and eventually they do find her. Well, what this movie is just about, Dumb and Dumber, the good old days of Dumb and Dumber and the funny comedy and stuff like that. But one of the complaints I have in this movie is it borrows way too much stuff from the first one. Like the classic quote line of Lloyd saying, "I like it a lot." I mean, he keeps on saying that, and it gets really old. There's just some lines you cannot borrow from the first movie because it's such a classic. But I really did have a nice time seeing Harry and Lloyd. It just brought back a lot of old memories. I really did like Harry and Lloyd a lot in this movie. Even though at times in this version of the second movie they did act a little more cartoony, and but overall, they just have some really likable personalities that are just so timeless. It was nice to get to know some backstory of who Freda Felcher was. I mean, in the first one, she was only referenced once because there's so much going on. But the actress Kathleen Turner did a pretty decent job as Freda Felcher. But I really actually didn't like this movie that much. It tried way too hard to fit with this era of humor instead of standing on its own. And most of the jokes had no payoff. For example, in the first movie, there was this one joke of where this one guy, he's pretty sensitive to spices. And so they put on all these hot peppers on his burger. And he eventually he burns off and he falls to the floor. And so before that scene, he dares them to have the hot peppers, and they both put a bunch of ketchup and mustard in their mouths. It's pretty funny, but the payoff is they thought it was some revenge, and so they put these rat poison pills on his burger, and eventually kills him. It's pretty dark, but they all thought it was just a goof, but eventually he just dies. But that's the payoff. At least it has a payoff. It's something so unexpected. But in this movie, it's all cheap thrills. There's nothing really that out of the ordinary in this movie. And it just was... one of the biggest complaints out of this movie is most of the jokes were going way too fast of a pace. You know a really bad comedian when they constantly are saying jokes after joke after joke and you don't have enough time for the audience to react to the joke? That's what this movie felt like. It felt like the movie had a bunch of great ideas, but the movie didn't know how to handle them. And the movie just, instead of thinking about making a really great sequel, instead they go with what the majority want instead of what the filmmakers wanted. And so I probably rank this movie probably about a 2 out of 5 stars for lack of creativity in a rather legendary movie. And actually, Dumb and Dumber is probably one of my all-time favorite movies. And so, yeah, that is my review of Dumb and Dumber 2, and I hope you guys have a good one.